Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Infrastructure Network. My name is Chad Smeltzer. I'm your host. Today, we have a special event where we're going to talk to the village of Lombard, Illinois about how they utilize the SLRAT technology to prioritize their sewer operation and maintenance. Brian Jack has been in the industry a long time, I think over 17 years. He's active in AWWA, no water, no hockey. He's a great utility superintendent, and his guys love him. I've spent a lot of time with them over the years. And today we're going to hear from Charlie Rotman, who is the representative at SLRAT, who has worked with the city of Lombard to help implement this program and keep it going. They've been very successful in the village of Lombard by using this technology, and I wanted to share this event with you guys. So hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Infrastructure Network. My name is Chad Smeltzer. I am your host. Today we have a special meeting where we're talking to Brian Jack, who's the utility superintendent for the city of Lombard, Illinois, and Charlie Rotman, who is the Midwest account manager for InfoSense. And we're going to be talking about sewer optimization and how Lombard is utilizing the technology like SLRAT to prioritize their sewer systems. And Brian, let's do an introduction, man. How long have you been in the industry, and what are you doing these days?
So yeah, well, thanks, Chad, for having me on here today. I'm looking forward to our conversation. But so I started with the Village Lombard back in 1997. So this is my 26th year.
Wow.
Working. I kind of done a little bit of everything. I started off my career in the street department, moved over to utilities back in the early 2000s with another village. I worked for the Village of Oak Park for 10 years as well too. So I've been doing water and sewer for quite a while now. I've also been very involved with the Illinois section of AWWA. I'm the past chair this year, part of a number of different committees with the Illinois section. So pretty involved in the industry for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. You have been. I know that you do the no hockey, no water, no water, no hockey.
Yeah, no water, no hockey. Yeah.
Love it, man. How's that been going?
It's going good. You know, we got our rear ends handed to us up in Canada at Ace this past by those Canadians, but they're a great group of guys. They really good hockey players for sure. You know, great group of guys. They took care of us all week, so it was a wonderful experience for sure.
They like live and breathe hockey up there, man. You're running into dangerous territory when you go up there, I'm sure.
Yeah, they were all like 6'5", and you know they were. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun though. It was fun.
I bet. Well, Charlie, give an introduction for yourself and what you've been doing.
Yeah, so I'm Charlie Rotman. Appreciate the opportunity, Chad, for this meeting, this conversation. And like I said, I'm with InfoSense, Midwest market manager, covering the whole Midwest for us. I've been doing this for about a little over 3 years. So also first time in the industry for those 3 years. So I was an engineer for a manufacturer before that. Excited to be here. Always learning more and more in this industry, and it's exciting. A lot of great stuff coming up.
You know what I love about you, Charlie, is you're willing to get uncomfortable, man, and to get on these episodes and have these conversations. This is like our fifth one or fourth one or something like that. You know, it takes a lot to get out there and just start talking like this on camera and stuff, and putting it out there. It is. You're doing great, by the way.
Thank you. There's a lot of people in this industry that have been doing it for a very long time, and any opportunity to learn from them is worth it. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, you're doing a great job. So one thing I've worked with Lombard before in the past, and Brian and I have worked together, years ago. It seems like it was just yesterday, but it's years ago now, like 2017, 2018, something like that. And one thing that we wanted to do in Lombard is start to figure out how to prioritize the sewer system, optimize it, figure out where all these blockages could occur, when they might occur, and try and predict how we can better optimize the maintenance of the sewer system. So Brian, one of the things that you've been really passionate about is bringing technology ideas. You have a very open-minded concept of like what you want to do with the sewer systems. But kind of starting off, what's the history of like your sewers and what's the size and how were you maintaining the sewers previously, and then what are you kind of doing now?
Yeah, so we have about 140 miles of sewers in town. We're probably about 40% combined sewer, then the rest is separated sewer, storm and sanitary. So historically, our just basically traditional maintenance programs where we would just basically sewer jet our entire town over a 3 or 4 year time frame. We were a lot of doing a lot of reactive repairs. You know, when things happen, we go out and fix them, probably like a lot of other communities do. We had a televising program where we tried to do the whole town within like a 10 to 15 year time period. But you know, doing closer CCTV is can get pretty expensive. We have sanitary sewers from 8 inch up to we our largest diameter sewer is 108 inch sewer. So I mean, we have a pretty wide range of sewers in town. As far as sizes, and they're anywhere PVC to citrified clay, pipe. So most of our storm sewer is RCP pipe. So so we were just doing basically traditional, sewer cleaning and televising and repairs as they come. So but that's kind of the history of it.
Yeah, you've always been, and you had like 2 Vector trucks, and you have a couple crews, right? You have a lot of guys out there.
Yeah, our underground guys, we have 14 guys with 2 crew leaders and a supervisor. So we have a pretty good size utilities department. Our town, we're about 44,000 people. Suburb of Chicago here. People don't know who we are, where we're at. Like I said, about 140 miles of sewer mains, 184 miles of water mains. So we're a mid-sized town, so we got a pretty good sized crew.
Yeah,
we were lucky enough to have two Vector combination trucks. So
nice.
We do a lot of hydro excavation, a lot of maintenance. So.
And I would imagine a lot of that's water side too, that you have to handle, water main breaks, things like that. So it's not just for sewer,
it's not just sewer,
water too. So
we do storm, sanitary, and water. So it's quite a bit.
That is a lot. If you start adding up all that pipe and storm and sewer, sanitary, and water main, it's a lot. Yeah. So, Charlie, going to you, kind of when you approach a city and you look at kind of what Brian was talking about, what he's done historically with CCTV and just jetting. How do you approach cities? With your SLRAT technology.
Yeah, no, great question. It's most cities that we do end up working with are similar to what Brian's explaining, where they're going out, they're jetting their lines on some sort of schedule and televising as well. And while the SLRAT is a great tool, it certainly doesn't replace those activities, right? And I like to start there with the city. This doesn't replace your camera work, doesn't replace your cleaning. Just try to help them see a different way of approaching it, where there are prioritizing those resources to where they're needed the most is really the goal of the SLRAT. It's not going to cure everything. It's not a one-stop shop for all of your needs, right? It's just a way to help prioritize those really valuable resources. Brian said that they were fortunate enough to have 2 Vectors. That is great. Maybe let's extend the life of those a little bit by using them really only where they're needed to be used, right? So it's prioritizing those expensive, valuable resources, the time, those crew hours, and using them where they're needed the most is really where the conversation starts.
Yeah, good points. And that's one thing I've realized, being a part of the sales process myself with different collection system is how do we make it more efficient? How can we, find those blockages potentially before it does spill into a waterway or someone's basement and things like that. So having different types of technology, not only the SLRAT, but there's many others out there that could potentially be used as a solution to finding these problems prior to that. But economically, it makes sense. Like the SLRAT has been one of those quick evaluation tools that you can use. But Brian, when you started this program using the SLRAT as a tool for your program, how did you consider it for implementation?
So basically, back in 2016 or 2017, we did a pilot program. It was about 50,000 linear feet. sewer, just to kind of test it out to kind of see what the technology was. And it was relatively new back then.
Mm-hmm.
And then after seeing the results of what the survey did for us, we took, when the guys were out there doing the first initial pilot program, they would let us know when they saw like a full blockage or something close to a full blockage, and we would dispatch our guys out there and to jet that line real quick and verify that there was a blockage there. And part of the pilot was we would go and clean that, then they would reshoot that segment, and then it showed that the blockage was gone and got a much higher score. So we knew it was going to be valuable by doing that. So once we saw the results of the pilot program, we broke the town up between 2 years and did our entire system to get a baseline. So once we did the baseline, we kind of developed our maintenance programs around that by breaking it up into 3 different segments. So, one being a score of 0 to 3 being the worst, and then 4 to 6, and then 7 to 10. We broke it up in those 3 segments and concentrated on the worst scores first, as far as going out jetting them, and then televising those, and then the next round of televising we would do the 4 to 6s, and then we kind of left the 7 to 10s alone. And then we decided that after the 5-year mark, which we started this year, we're redoing the entire town again, to kind of see where we're at after all the work that we've done with the televising, and then making any repairs that we needed that we found in the televising in those low score areas, to see what the scores came back at again. That hopefully everything that we did has a higher score now, and hopefully the 7 to 10 range that was good ratings back the first time we did are still in those 7 to 10 range. But if not, if they move down, then we know that we got to do some more work out there. So it really helped make our operations more efficient, because we kind of tailored our sewer jetting program around what the scores were. Because if you have a segment that basically was a 7, 8, 9, or 10 with very little blockage, we would still go spot check some of those, but we wouldn't spend a lot of time on them because we knew that there wasn't that much of a blockage. So we would concentrate our efforts on lower scores, and we seem to really have had some good luck with it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for that. That's really a way someone should develop a program just like that, to separate the town and get these pipes, different segments of it, and keep data, scoring, because you'll be able to trend what's happening in the sewer pipe, really, at using the scoring system that SLRAT provides. But that's not everything's as good as it seems, Charlie. Everything is always a little unique when it comes to the scoring. So tell us some more about the technology and how it can be, the scoring can look different maybe than what you're finding with CCTV.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's not everything's always perfect, right?
Rainbows all the time.
I'm sure Brian maybe has come across these. There could be like pipe sags, right? Pipe sags is a really common one. Almost every city we work with has a bit of a spike at 0 versus 1s, 2s, and 3s, right? And a lot of the time, we're going to say a lot of the time, but some of the time, those aren't really blockages. They're pipe sags or bellies, and the water's kind of stuck in there. And we have cities come out, if they don't know ahead of time, that, hey, this pipe was clean and we got a 0. This thing doesn't work, right? And usually they've been warned ahead of time it's probably a pipe sag or a belly, and sure enough, they look at it with the camera, and that's what they found. So there's value in knowing where those pipe sags and bellies are, but it is not really a blockage that's causing a risk of a backup or an overflow, right? So that's always something that comes up. Other instances are light roots in a pipe, roots that haven't really collected anything on them yet. They may look nasty on a camera, but they're not at a risk for a backup or an overflow yet, right? So the score may be a 5 or a 6, right? Or even a 7. Come back in a year, come back in 2 years, and now those roots have collected all those flushable wipes that we all love, and the score does decrease. So there are limitations to the technology, right? I always like to think that the SLRAT will work in probably about 95% of your system. There's going to be those 5% of your pipes where this maybe isn't the right tool.
Spot on. Yeah, that's a great way to answer that one. And Brian, I want to go back to you on that one, because I'm sure you get flack from maybe the maintenance guys, and they go out, they pop the camera in, and they're like, this thing isn't blocked. What the, can you elaborate maybe on some of your experiences with that?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of, echoing some of the what Charlie was saying about the pipe sags. We've had. I mean, we're lucky that we have a good number as far as staff to get out there, and we had a pretty good jetting program. So we pretty much know where our major sags in town are. So when we would come across a score like that, most of the guys would know, it's okay. Well, all right, we know this block, there's a sag there, so we know it's okay. But the important thing is that we knew that it wasn't going to be 100% accurate on everything. That's just the nature of the beast, and so it's important to go back and kind of, like I said earlier, kind of spot checking areas, just to kind of see what the score gives you from the SLRAT, and then what in real life what it is. I mean, we're lucky enough to have a crawler camera, so we can do some quick spot checks to see, and so that's important. I mean, the more knowledge you have of your system before you do something like this type of technology, the better off you are, because you have some historical knowledge out there. If unfortunately, if you don't have like a lot of history of work um, and data before you do it, you're kind of stuck, and you have to kind of go back and really take a lot of look at stuff. So it's going to be a little more labor intensive, but once you have that baseline, then
Yeah.
it makes it a lot better.
Yeah, and another thing to add to that is just what Brian was saying was they had a strong plan in place for implementation, right? So that's so important when you start using this technology. Is what are you going to do with the scores when you get them, and what kind of frequency of inspection and cleaning and cameras, whatever resources you want to use, having that plan in place is so important. Otherwise, you get all these SLRAT scores, and okay, now what? Now what do we do? Right?
Yeah.
It's like having all this data and no plan. Data is great, but having those action plan to follow up on it is so critical to success with this tool. Really, with any tool you have, but especially with something that's collecting so much data like this.
Yeah, and it's so true. It can really entrench you with data that you can't filter through fast enough, and then where do you start? Yeah, like I got all this. I think that's when Brian and I started working on the program years ago. It was like that. It was like 75,000 feet, and then we got all this data. It's like, okay, well, what do we start doing? That kind of stuff. It was really it was a good experience to learn from. I think we learned a lot from it, but one of the positive things is you didn't give up, Brian. You were like, okay, well, we know we have all this information. Now we have to figure out how to optimize it and use it. And you guys have always done a great job at figuring things out there in Lombard. So kudos to you and your team for doing that stuff.
Yeah, and we continue to expand, because we a handful of years ago we got an asset management program. So we incorporate all the SLRAD scores in our asset management program, and we can create layers of, even go down to like the different scores, that if we need to jet them more regularly, if they're before we can get out there and televise it, and if there's a sag, if we got to fix a sag or some kind of failure, we can create layers. I mean, we're creating a sag layer that we'll go out there and jet more regularly, just to make sure that there's nothing collected there. If in one part of town we have it's a 15-inch diameter sewer that we know there's a sag in there, and we know there's always problems, but the cost to repair it is a little out of reach right now. So so now we build a maintenance program in our sag layer to get out there and clean it more regularly, so we're not going to have any issues.
Yeah.
So it's incorporating it with our asset management program has been a huge help as well too. So yeah, we're, like I said, we're constantly evolving our technology in different programs, that because the days of all this data coming in, it's like, if you don't have anything to do with all this data, then why have it?
Yeah. Good points.
So,
Charlie, how does the system, the SLRAT technology, how does it adopt to these asset management tools?
Yeah, so the SLRAT obviously has its own software that comes with it, the SL Dog, the data organizer. But really, the goal of that technology is to get the data into the city's asset management program or GIS program, whatever they're using, because we've heard from operators and communities that they want all their data in one place, right? They don't want to have to come to our portal to get their SLRAT data. They want it all where all their other information is, right? So that's really the goal of the software, is to get it into the right software for the city, right? And usually that's their data asset management program or their GIS, right? So try to make it as easy as possible for communities to integrate that information.
Yeah. Brian, have you noticed any like cost reduction or any benefits on that as far as, maintenance? Have you done any like ROI with the information?
Well, yeah, I mean, I haven't done like an official ROI on it, but
Yeah.
I know that we become much more efficient as far as targeting dollars. So it makes it a lot easier to justify even increasing budgets to do more televising. This having the data behind it really helps justify spending capital dollars on things, and it's made us more, like I said, more efficient operationally. Just by being able to focus on where we're going to go jetting and not just blindly just jetting the whole town every 3 years just because that's the way we've done it for the past 50 years. It's focusing it a little bit more. It frees up time for us to do other projects and do more work.
Yeah, that's
So
good. When you say that's the way we've always done it, I'm glad you're like, we don't want to stick to that. I've
which
heard,
isn't always bad, but it's
Right.
like
yeah,
there's a lot of good things that have been happening for a lot of years, but it's doing the same things that we've done for a long time, but just in a more efficient, focused manner, I guess.
yeah. Charlie, can you speak to like the ROI that you're getting nowadays from the cities you're working with? Is there any kind of calculations that you've been putting together?
I can't really speak to like numbers. It's different every city and what
Yeah,
their program looks like, right? So typically, cities are reducing the amount of footage of pipe that they're cleaning by about 50% or more, um, which it can cost $1.50 to clean a foot of pipe, right? So, or depending on where you are,
or
those
more.
numbers fluctuate. Yeah, or a lot more, right?
Wow, yeah,
Um, so typically you can start looking at it that way. You can look at it at man hours. I've had cities that they took the amount of time and money they were saving by jetting less footage and poured it right into a lining program, right? And they had a 30-year lining program and they were able to reduce that down to 10 years, right? Which is one example I can think of off the top of my head, where they're able to pour those resources back into the system to make it more efficient in the future. So it really depends on how much a city is using their SLRAT, what kind of program they're doing, um, to start talking numbers like that. Yeah.
I got a question for you. When cities are basically saying, I've heard this, and we don't want to use this in the old pipe or downtown pipes. It's better to be used in the new pipes, the technology. What do you say to that stuff?
There's some truth to that, right? Because I've heard recently, I was just doing a city starting their program up now, and they're planning on using the SLRAT primarily in their PVC pipes, because when they flush those lines and jet them, they sometimes have issues going into people's laterals and blowing up their toilets. So that's not fun, right? And typically, maybe those pipes are newer and in better condition, so they don't want to use their cleaning resources on those PVC pipes, right?
Right.
So there's some value in that, some truth to that, but it also there's a lot of good older clay pipes that are in great shape and they don't need jetting either. So inspect them first. Takes about a minute and a half, and then maybe they don't have to use those resources there either. So there is value using it in your entire system. But again, it goes to how much time do you have to use the SLRAT? What are your resources? And what kind of program you want to put in place? But there's value in using it everywhere, and value in using it just those few spots as well.
Got it. Wow. Brian, what's the experience been like working with the InfoSense service team?
Oh, it's been great. This year working with them, there's in constant communication with us. They offer to give us daily reports on stuff they've done. We opted to go with just like a weekly recap, of it. So, just because things can get a little crazy with emails every day. But no, they've been great to work with. The guys that are doing the work here in town have been super helpful with us. We've helped them out when they can't find a manhole or can't get one open. We'll go out there and help them out. But yeah, no, it's been great. I mean, the communication back and forth from the very get go till now has been really good. So
That's good to hear. Yeah,
We
awesome.
appreciate that. I can't take any of the credit for any of that, by the way. But we appreciate it. I got to shout out Heather and our crew, Dennis and Andel. So thank you. Appreciate that.
yeah, and everything that they've given us has been very detailed. So the areas that have been done, we get screenshots of areas, and uh, any really low scores that come up, they let us know right away, and we go out and kind of take care of it. So there's a lot of really good data going back and forth. So
That's great. Charlie, if there's something that you wanted to kind of get out there for other cities to learn from, what would that be?
Just the SLRAT tool it's helpful for prioritizing resources. I think we've talked about this, but the big thing, especially with the service aspect of it, a lot of cities are struggling with staffing issues, especially since COVID, and it hasn't really seemed to get much better. I still hear people struggling to hire people and find the right guy for the job. So the SLRAT can be something that no, we're not going to help you hire someone, but it can help you prioritize your resources so you can get as much done as you would like, um, and help prioritize those more expensive resources and allocate your man hours, your resources more efficiently. So having someone come in and collect the data for you has a lot of value in it.
Awesome. Brian, what's the future look like for Lombard and your utilities department?
well, I mean, it's ever evolving. That's for sure. We've we're always looking for different technologies, different making things easier for us to do our jobs. Just like Charlie was saying, I mean, it's we're always asked to do more than with less. So this type of technology really helps us maximize the dollars that we have. We were kind of kicking around maybe buying the equipment to do the SLRAT stuff ourselves, but it's for us, it's easier just to have someone come in and do it. For the cost that it comes in, it's extremely reasonable, and for the amount of data that you get, for to be able to baseline your whole town, and just to get a starting point on where to build your maintenance programs. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
For a mid-sized town like us, the cost wasn't very big. I mean, we broke our town up into 2 years to do it, just to make it a little bit more manageable. But we could have done it all in 1 year if we really needed to. So, the cost is very reasonable for the amount of data that you get, and it is valuable. We really were able to focus our other resources after we got the baseline in. So,
Well, you've been a great leader, Brian. From what I've known you, over the last 10 years or so, you've done a great job there in Lombard, guiding your team and making good decisions on how you're going to optimize the sewer systems. And you're always looking for new opportunities. So thank you for being
for
a
sure.
great leader, just in general.
Well,
It's good.
thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And thank you as well. Yeah, no, thank you, Brian and Sean. You guys have been great to work with. I know Sean's not here, but both of you have been easy to work with. This project has gone very smoothly for us. They're not all smooth, but you
Somebody's
guys have
looking
been
for
great
it.
to work with. So appreciate that.
Sorry
Yeah.
about
So, well, guys, I truly thank you both. And it sounds like Brian's got to get going, but I thank you both for joining me, man. This has been a great experience, just hearing both sides of what's happening out there and the technologies that we're using. And if anything else comes up, you guys think of anything and we want to jump on another one, let me know. And I'd be happy to facilitate that and talk some more.
Well, thank you, Chad. Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Chad. And one last thought: if anybody has any questions or want to chat about the SLRAT program, what we've done, chat, feel free to put my contact info out on this, and people can contact me directly, and be happy to chat with them about sewers, water, hockey, whatever.
Love it. Love it. So yeah, we're gonna need your cell phone number, so we'll post that right now. What is your email? How do you want people to actually connect with you if they do?
Yeah, easiest is through my email. So my email is jackb@villageoflombard.org. So my last name, first initial, at villageoflombard.org.
Love it. And Charlie, how can they get a hold of you? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, bro.
Yeah, email works as well. crotman@infosense.com.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much again for joining me, and truly appreciate it with your time and stuff.
Yeah, anytime.
Thank you. Appreciate it.